They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful cause they try to be. They sit there being judgmental because you're trying things, and they just want you to settle and do the right thing. So get a good job, don't slack off. Wake up every morning, make a good impression on your boss. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do, and when you're making money, make sure you don't spend it too soon. Fuck that, I'll do what I wanna do. I got a different path from everyone, and that includes you. Who are you to tell me how to live life? In these times it feels like nobody's right, yeah. So I'ma figure out what else we succeed, and then invest all of my time into that and proceed. I need whatever the hell can make me happy, and I don't think you have a clue what could that be. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I think this life could be special if I get rid of the devils. They think that I am a rebel, I think they want me to settle. There's nobody on my level. They think that work is too stressful, I think that work is essential. The grind is all in your mental, and I don't think you understand what I'll go through just to be in control of my life soon. All the negativity, man, I'm immune. I don't really need a mask with all I've been through. I've been making changes for the ages. 5-10 year plans are contagious. I attack that shit, I'm tenacious. And if you ain't, get the fuck out of my way then. Got one life, I won't regret it. I will fight until I get it. I'll look back one day from heaven and say, damn, I learned some lessons. And say, damn, I had no questions. I had fun in every second, and the journey was a blessing, yeah. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing.
Here's something to hit!
All right, Em. This is my heater. I dare you to hit it.
You'll be sorry.
You want the heater? I'll give it to you.
That's how you do it, Mom!
Ham, idiot. Now we can't play no more.
Great!
I had to add that for one of my favorite movies of all time, The Sandlot.
Of course, man. The classic.
Oh, man, guys. All right, guys, what is going on? We are back for a Wednesday night throwdown. This time we are switching gears to the pastime of Major League Baseball. We are both repping our squads.
Mm-hmm.
I was told that our house is a Houston Astros house, but don't tell Shiro I'm rocking the Phillies. Okay, just I do that with all boldness. Just don't tell her I said that.
I got you.
I'm joined by my mythical guest today, Cannoli Sasquatch. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, man. It's the eve of opening day baseball, which is like a holiday for me. So
I was going to ask, how are you feeling about it?
I love it, man. Like no matter what happens in life or in sport, opening day is just a fresh start for everyone. Everybody who's a baseball fan loves opening day baseball, the whole pageantry, and so I'm prepared. I got my free MLB TV through T-Mobile. I'm set.
I saw that. I was like, this man is about it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Ready to go.
All right, dude. I'm excited to hear your takes on a few things as well. I will say that I don't even know where at one point it actually stopped, but I was like, you know what? I could have said that opening day at Wrigley would have been one of my bucket list. Like I said, I mean, I lived 2 hours south of Chicago for 8 years, and I was like, damn. It was the same time as Rookie of the Year came on. They made it such a big thing when the movie came out. I was like, you know what? It would be on my bucket list to actually go to Wrigley at least once in my life just for opening day. You know?
Yeah, of course.
But, excuse me. But yeah, that's what guys. We're gonna be talking about certain things like that too. We got pretty much a few questions we're gonna go over, especially pertaining to a lot of things that are going on in baseball. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I think I played baseball till I was like maybe 12 or 13, and then it kind of fell off, like pretty much after the McGuire Sosa home
Mhm.
run off. And then it maybe picked up in like 2009 when the Phillies went to the World Series, because I was actually living in Philly at that time, and
Right.
been actual fun games to go to. So we're just gonna catch you guys up on everything that's been going on, particularly with this season in mind, because it's a lot. But
Yep.
before we do all of that, we'll go ahead and address the chat. Got the homie Steven Ransom here. Good day to you, sir. So to even see where the piss is at Sasquatch hiding, he popped right out there because he let y'all know that he was lurking. Right. Got Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch. Okay. Is she also a Mets fan, dude?
Yeah, she became a Mets fan by association. And the
I
dating
see.
and then the marriage. Now she gets sometimes a little more crazy than I do in certain games that she
Really?
left. She's not as hardcore, but it's just even my
That's
daughter
sort of
now, they
surprising.
know that, yeah, leave dad alone when
Okay.
he's watching the game. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. All right. All right. I got you. We got what we got here, and we've got Vex. Thank you. You gotta let us know how your Montreal what is it, Montreal Canadiens?
No,
What
it's
we got in
well,
Toronto.
it was Montreal Expos. Now it's the Toronto Blue Jays only. The
Okay, wait.
Montreal Expos moved to Washington, and now they're
That's
the
what I see.
Nationals. Yeah.
Oh, that's what happened. See, that's how behind I am, guys. So just the Toronto Blue Jays now. See, yeah. Let us know what you think, Johnny. You would do that, dude. As always, that one guy. Jesus,
Always that
I need
guy.
him. I'm excited about the Sega Genesis stream on Friday, bro. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
That's
wait. I cannot wait, man. I
hmm
won't be on long on a live stream tonight. Hey, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
yeah. Thanks for hopping in, man.
Ironside. Thank you, sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So, dude, we're going to get to it, kind of go either back and forth instead of it being like a Q&A session for one side or another, just basically going over some of the open-ended questions that we both got.
Yeah.
I know that the one question that I saw that when I was thinking of, we basically were thinking about this, months ago,
hmm
and we finally got time to do it, but I hadn't caught up on everything that was going on. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out how to say this first. Just the first and foremost thing is, do you think in general Major League Baseball is a dying sport? Because we call it the American pastime, but sometimes when they say it, it's like, well, hey, it's past its time, and so we're looking at other sports. So, what were your general overall thoughts on Major League Baseball? Is it a dying or a dead sport to you?
I think that I have this conversation a lot with a lot of family members and baseball fans. It's definitely a sport that's dwindling in the eyes of, yeah, in the eyes of. I'll put it this way: the youth of America, of a certain
Hmm.
age, you're not watching baseball because number one, it's a
Yeah,
long sport. Number two, you're also competing against constant content, and you have so many things coming at you. YouTube, I mean, anything, especially on mobile. You can go anywhere and watch anything at any time. So attention spans for younger fans or younger audiences is already out the window. So what baseball's hanging on to is the people my age, the people in their uh the middle-aged people, anything younger than say your mid 30s, early 30s. If you're not growing up in a baseball house,
yeah,
you're kind of losing that fan base, and they don't make it easy because they don't promote their stars very well at all. Really, if you're not a big baseball fan, you're not going to know who the top star in each team is or in the league.
that's fair.
They do not do a good job. Football does a great job. Basketball, the NBA probably does the best job of promoting their stars. So I think there's a lot of competition. The youth doesn't care, and baseball is that's why these rule changes they finally put them out this year, and they're changing a lot to try to counteract that. They still have a long way to go. I don't think they're doing a great job, but I think it is a sport that in another decade might be the fourth sport in the country, which is sad.
Okay. I mean, you're saying it's they've got a lot of competition, but I'm actually glad you brought up some of the rule changes because that's what we're actually going to be getting
Mhm.
into. So, I know the first thing we want to talk about is that the new rule change says there's a pitch timer now. So
Yeah.
basically, you got 15 seconds per pitch when no one's on base, and you got 20 seconds when you've got runners on base.
hmm
And do you think this in general, and I know you'll ask your part of this question too, but do you think that this will save, quote unquote, save Major League Baseball?
Well, they've been testing it out in the minor leagues for a few years, and they finally implement it in Major League Baseball. It's so
Okay.
far. in spring training games, it's knocked off about 20 to 25 minutes of games.
I saw that.
So it's a decent amount. My biggest problem was with I always talk about this was not so much with the pitchers all the time. It was the batters constantly when you after each pitch stepping out of the batter's box, fixing their gloves. Like I know it's a mental game. You want that you want those mental gymnastics in the game. It's no clock. There's no clock for a reason, which makes it great. But I used to get annoyed at that even. I really don't have a problem with it so far. I think there might be problems down the road as far as how it, if it causes a game to be won or lost on a pitch clock going past its time, or because now the batter has to get into the batter's box at a certain time too, which that I like. So I think if it speeds up the game enough, fine. Pitcher on the Dodgers last year who literally took a minute and a half between pitches, and they did a side-by-side comparison between him and this year spring training. And the pitcher for the Dodgers this year got through 3 outs in about 2 minutes, where that guy took 15 minutes to get through one batter. Because he was fouling. The guy was fouling off pitches, and they step out a minute and a half. And it was like, that's the stuff that's going to make casual fans, turn the TV and go to do something else. That's when they go to Netflix and watch Love Island or whatever the frick they're.
Bro, my wife got me watching Love Is Blind.
Love Is Blind. That's it,
bro. I got hooked on that shit last night. I'm like,
yeah.
Hold on, why? Why is he like? He's talking to her. They're obviously together. She's like, honey,
that's my point.
That's not the first pick. Yeah. So yeah, it'll make you do.
So like that's people are going to switch off, and people are going to let's binge something instead of watch this 3-hour sport. Now the funny thing is, though, as far as the time, football games are actually been longer. Pro football games in college have been longer, but it's the pace of the game. Football, the plays are happening quick, and it's just a different dynamic. But I think this could help. I know a lot of traditional baseball fans do not like this, and I kind of get why.
Like this at all.
But I don't have a problem with it right now, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. I mean, I know that there was one thing that you were talking about that we were talking about earlier in terms of pitching. What were you going to ask in terms of that?
Yeah. So one of the questions somebody else asked that I thought was a great question is this going to cause more injuries for pitchers? Because now pitchers have here's the thing with pitchers have a set, they come to their stopping point, and now if some pitchers need that extra time mentally to prepare, and everybody's bodies are different. When you're putting stress on an arm, it's not a natural throwing motion to throw overhead. So certain pitchers like it right now, and certain pitchers are worried that it's going to cause arm issues over a full season, because if you're getting to your set quicker and having to throw quicker, I don't know. I personally don't know. It's going to be one of those things. It's just a wait and see thing. I think it could cause issues, yes, over a long period of time, like a full baseball season, putting more pressure on the arm because you're throwing pitches quicker to the plate. I don't know if it's really going to be an issue, though. I really don't. It's a hard question to answer because I don't know.
I mean, I think for me, I'm not sure about injuries, but I know it's going to alter your pitch. Not your pitch count, but it's going to alter your pitch selection. That's what I want to see. Like, well, hey, are we going to see more changeups? Because you don't have to put as much on it as you would your fastball or your slider. I mean, I love a breaking ball. I can't hit that thing to save my life. I swear to God, I was great up until like when I was 12. I came in there with all the confidence in the world, and I swear I thought the ball was going to hit me right in the elbow, and that thing went straight over the plate. I was like, you know what?
I'm done.
Math. English, history, where the books at.
At least the fastball is fast and it's straight. So
there's no shame in that.
Or sometimes you don't even see it. But yeah, I agree with you. Breaking pitches are tough, man.
You can look by and say, "Would that go by?" But I mean, a breaking ball, good lord, mess your whole day up. So yeah, I think it's going to alter the pitch selection, and I think it's going to I think it's still going to be in favor of batters because it's going to tip them off to the pitch.
I think initially it's going to help pitchers at first. Because batters are more, batters have a lot about hitting is a lot about timing. Like if your bat speed is fast, that's another mental thing. What is he going to throw? How is he going to throw it? Now you're speeding that method up. So the batters are having a hard time catching up right now in spring training. I think it's going to take a good part of the season, at least the first few months, for batters to be like, okay, I'm used to this now. I got to get in the box. That quick pace. Pitchers always have the advantage at the beginning of a season, always.
Okay, I will say towards the NLDS, NLCS, and in the World Series, it's going to be very interesting. I will tell you that. I will say it'll be even more fun that way.
Yeah.
Got so deviancy as a pitcher. The umpire was deeming me for pitching too fast. That umpire was a player hater. I don't know how old you are, but I would have had to have called him on me. Exactly.
Hating on us.
You're like, your pitch is called off. He's like, you know what? You're called off because you're being a player hater right now. All right. That's what I would do. I don't know how old you are or what your confidence level is. That's what I had to do.
Yep.
The other thing that we did see was, or we heard about, and I have to directly check with you to see how it's tried out in the minors, but they changed the base size too. They went from about 15 inches to 18 inches.
Yeah, I have a problem.
How do you think that will affect running, stolen bases, or even?
It's going to affect a lot of things. I was watching a video about this morning about how so you have Ricky Henderson, right? The most stolen bases ever.
Bro, I was gonna ask you about that.
So now what you're doing is you're giving an advantage to the runners on base. Oh God. So now it went from 15 to 18 inches. That's a big difference. So I know they're saying,
3 inches older. Yeah.
They're saying it's for safety reasons, especially when hitters or runners run to first base because they're colliding a lot of the times with the first baseman because there's not enough room. So if you have that extra 3 inches off the baseline, they're thinking, well, the runner can kind of move a little bit. They're not out of the baseline. They can step on the base. Nobody's getting hurt. Now the problem is that you're shortening the distance from first to second to third by 3 inches each base. So now you have a guy who maybe stole 30 bases in a season or 20. Now he could still steal 50. And it's like, I think it definitely, 3 inches is massive. Big difference. Yes. Yeah, girth. We're talking girth, not length. I think it definitely is going to skew the numbers. I think that if Henderson's record wasn't going to be broken, now's the chance to do it for the fast guys, the guys who are good base stealers. Yeah, and to me, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. To me, you got to put an asterisk next to that because of the change.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I see where everyone liked the whole the home run race of what was that, 99? 80, 98,
with 97, 98. Yeah, I think it was around that time.
That was the most fun time to be a baseball fan, right?
It was great.
And that was when the chicks did the dig the long ball. However, since then it's like, you know how long you have to wait for that to happen? And
no, it's changed. The baseball's has ebbs and flows like that.
I know.
McGuire Sosa thing brought baseball back because not just before that there was a strike, and the baseball was in bad shape, man. And this is why I'm going to put my conspiracy hat on for a second. I think the commissioner knew what was going on with the steroid thing. Obviously, he needed people to come back to the sport, and then you had Sosa, you have McGuire,
Selig, right?
Yeah, and then you had the Yankees at the time were going for a historic amount of wins for that season, and it's like you had the most storied franchise in all the sports going for a record amount of wins for that year. Then you have this race for the home run, and it kept me interested. I was like watching every freaking at bat those two guys were in, and it saved the sport. So. Yeah, since then it's been up and down. Like they've changed the way the pitchers throw off the mound, where the mound is, and the length, the height, and so the problem now is that the batting averages are dropping a lot and there aren't as many home runs in the last few years. I'm not saying that you need home runs, you need balls. The problem with baseball is getting the ball in play is a massive problem because you got now you got these things. They got rid of they got the pitch counts now. They removed the shift. They removed the shift in baseball. So teams with this analytics stuff.
What's the shift?
So what it is like if you have a guy at bat, say you have, I'm trying to think of a player, like it's just hypothetical. This Ohtani guy, he's a lefty, right? Yeah. So he's a power hitter. They know he's going to pull the ball to right field, so they would shift the whole infield over. So that way, the ball has a less than likely chance of getting out of the infield. It's an automatic out, basically. You're going to throw them out. So the problem is, it's slowed down the game so much that they got rid of it now. So this year is the first year that's not implemented, and so it's going to put an emphasis on athletic play for second baseman and shortstop, which hurts and helps. I think it's a good thing. I hate the shift. I think it's boring, and I think I don't want to say it's unfair because I don't want to be like that victim mentality for players, but I want to see baseball. I don't want any of this stupid robotic shit where people, let the guys play.
I mean, it's like, well, hey, if I know for a fact that you generally hit, why can't I go to the side where you hit? It's not my fault.
It's within the rules. It makes sense, right? But I want to see these athletes be athletic. and that's a problem too. You don't see shortstop diving for baseballs as much anymore. You don't see double plays anymore. Balls don't get out of the infield, so a lot of the games slowed down a lot. There's not a lot of runs scored. So baseball sees this as another method of, hey, let these guys actually put themselves on display. Let them show their athleticism, and then get more exciting plays, get more people in the stands. So if you're thinking that as a business point, from a business stance, it makes sense.
Okay, I will say, yeah, I would just as soon as watch Formula One over NASCAR. Formula One, anytime you want to race and your head is exposed, I'll give you the race. I'll give you that. Like, you're so bad, you're like,
I'll head's banging around in the
right. Who needs a top? I'm just
right.
So yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, that was one thing I was on check on that with the base sizes on there too.
Yep.
And I guess the other thing I was like, you know what? Kind of in line with the base running, do you think that we're ever going to see Ricky Henderson's 931 stolen bases be broken? Or do you think it's an actual better pursuit than, let's say, trying to say, hey, I'll try to hit, I don't know, Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron? Because I know that the only person that's there right now is what is his name? They call him the machine. Jesus Christ. Albert Pujols. There we go.
Albert Pujols. Yeah. Pujols retired now, so he got close.
He's finally out. Okay.
He's out, yeah. But he got his 700th home run. He got over 700 home runs. Base stealing to me is very exciting, but it's not a sexy thing. People want to see home runs. I love base stealing. Ricky Henderson, for what he did, it's just unbelievable.
That is
the talent that it takes. It's an instinct thing, and he was a big. Do I think it could be broken? I don't think so, but I think it's easier now with the base size change, because now you're going to give, like I said, you're going to jump a guy who stole 30 bases, can maybe steal 60 or more. And then when you have the top guys who are stealing have a high stealing base count, well, what if that guy goes from 60 to 90 because that extra 3 inches gives him an advantage that, so even Ricky Henderson didn't have? Could you imagine if Ricky Henderson had 18-inch bases when he was playing?
Bro, it would be a wrap. So
there you go. But so I think I don't think it will be broken, but I think if it does, it's going to be in this new era now.
I'm going to name some names. Let me know when I actually get to anyone that's actual current. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we got Ricky Henderson, obviously retired, right? That's like 1406 for stolen bases, right? Lou Brock, Billy Hamilton, Ty. I'm gonna bring a show you because geez, we're talking like a guy that stole a lot of bases, and you would think that with as much athleticism as we're technically seeing, or how skinny these guys are for the bases, for the positions they play. I'm going to show you the list that we're looking at. It's up right now, right?
Yeah.
Let me know when you see an actual current player on here.
I mean, these are Hall of Fame players at the top.
These are Hall of Famers. And Kenny Lofton is one of my favorite.
Joe Morgan.
Players.
Yeah, like Joe Morgan. These guys, Kenny Lofton, he was awesome. Juan Pierre was played for the Marlins for a long time. He switched around, but he was a fast guy. And it's like, I don't see anybody on here.
Bro, is anyone on this list current?
I don't know if I see a current day.
Barry Bonds is on here.
Barry Bonds was great.
Vince.
There was a guy, Vince Coleman. He was fantastic, a base stealer. Played with the Mets for a while. I honestly don't think it's going to happen. Now, a lot of these players are already out, but that's what I mean. Like, look at the list, and a lot of these players are retired or not playing anymore.
I'm going to look this up right now. current stolen base leaders, if I can find it.
It'll show
players as a reference.
Yeah, and look,
336. Are you?
Yeah,
serious?
like look at these numbers, and then these guys. Some of these guys are already past their, like in their middle, past their prime. Trey Turner's another guy who's fast. Like, it's not going to happen now. I will say with the rules changing, I don't know if it's going to make it easier or tougher, just because of the how quick the catchers have to get the ball back now to the pitchers. So I don't know if that's going to play into. They're going to be more aware of who's on base. It might make it tougher for guys to steal bases now. It's a weird dynamic because you have the bigger bases, which helps, but then you have the pitch clock now where the catchers have to be more alert at getting the ball back. So they're kind of, their awareness is up. So this is going to be very interesting to watch. Very interesting.
I was just looking. I was like, you know what? As many as he has, like, what's the closest person? I'm like,
that's why I won't be broken.
Closest is I can see it's 1400. I was like, I thought it was like 931, but
yeah. Now just again, imagine adding that, making that base 3 inches bigger. Two of those bases and three.
Dude,
what does he have? 2,400. Like it's
I'm like the only.
And he slacked off. Ricky Henderson.
He did towards the end, but he was like, was it 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, but even when he was in his prime, he had that attitude. He was so talented, he knew it, and I mean, if this guy put in 100% effort every game
Exactly.
with his talent, he would have beaten even more records.
Dude, I think the only person, the current person that I would have ever had to get somewhere close to me, and had he been healthy and he not gone so much as to think about baseball, or not baseball, but had he not gone on to just try to do home runs as much, it'd have been Ken Griffey. That's the only person I could have seen.
I think Griffey
getting
would have broken
close.
the home run record by a lot.
Oh yeah.
If you,
Oh
but he
yeah.
got injured. And another
Yeah.
thing with just real quick, sorry, I don't want to, but with the pitch clock now, there's a thing, I don't know if you've ever seen it, when, of course you probably have, but when the pitchers throw to the first base a lot to kind of keep the guy on the base so they can't steal. So you see these pitchers will throw 5, 6, 7 times. Now that's limited to
pitches.
So now there's only 2 per batter. So when that guy gets to first base, you can only throw over twice.
That's fair. I think
and
fair.
And if the third time, if you throw and he's not picked off, the guy gets to advance to second base or the next base. So
a balk? Is it because they call it a balk at that point?
Kind of, if you want to put it in that category, they're just going to say, well, fuck it, you're wasting too much time. Now here's an advantage to the other team. They're going to get the base that you're trying. So now that gives an advantage to the runner because you can't throw over as much, and the runners are going to know that. So it's easier for them to steal bases now too.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll get more to player talk with that. We're going from just to general to very specific. What was one of the questions that you'd had on your end that you were trying to ask as well?
Oh, I was going. So I know the big star of the league is I don't know how to pronounce his first name, so I'm just going to say Ohtani because
I just everyone calls him Shotani.
Shotani.
I said Shotani.
This guy,
or Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime. So this kid is a phenom. He's a pitcher who's a Cy Young winner. He's an MVP player. Guy hits a ton of home runs. It's a weird thing. So everybody's comparing him to Babe Ruth because Babe Ruth was a pitcher and a hitter. So this guy is a dynamic player. Now he's a free agent at the end of the season. So the question is, if the Angels, who stink usually, are out of the race by the trade deadline, will he get traded or will they keep him? So my thing would be, if you're the Angels, you try to get as many prospects as you can for the guy. Top prospects. The problem is, if you're the team wanting to trade for him, you're going to have to give up everyone to get this guy. So my thing is, if he goes to free agency, say, and what did I say? Michael Trout. Mike Trout's probably the best player in the game. 420, I think he got 420 million over like 10, 13 years.
10 years, yeah.
And he's the best player, and he's just an outfielder who hits a shit ton of home runs and hits high average. This dude, Ohtani, can not only throw 100 miles an hour, win the Cy Young, which is basically the MVP for pitching. He's also an MVP winning player just for playing his position. Is a DH, an outfielder, and a freaking home run hitter.
It's very, very hard to do, man.
So I'm thinking this guy probably pockets. The minimum is going to be 500 million. I'm thinking he can get as high as 6. I am not even kidding. It'll be in between 5 and 600 million. He'll be the highest paid player ever in the history of sports after the season, ever.
I can see that.
Yeah. And that'll be for 10 years.
I mean,
that'll be like a 10, 13-year contract, dude.
I'm probably going to go 13, bro, on that, just to get the money to work out. Guys,
I'd ask
there's
for 13.
There's no salary cap in baseball, guys,
Not
which
yet.
is why, like, if you got kids, the 2 sports you need to tell your kids to play are basketball and baseball. Why? Great Players Association. Contracts are guaranteed. And if you go to baseball, there's no salary cap. Okay.
Yep.
So it'll take you forever to get there if you wind up going through the farm system. But once you get there, you can clear some arbitration initially, like Judge did.
Especially if your son is a lefty and he can throw hard. Lefty pitchers are at a premium in the sport.
Bro,
you'll be an instant millionaire.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I part of me wishes I'd have kept up with it because I am a lefty. I hit lefty. I would pitch. I had me all over. I could do center field, left field, second base. Like center field was my main thing because all the greats to me.
Probably because you were fast too. Yeah,
I was fast as shit, man. Like
that's where you put yourself. But my thing. I always tell people, kids, like, if you don't, even if they don't like baseball, they hate. Like, still get your kid into Little League. Let him see what he's got. Let him play baseball, because if he's good and there's a hidden talent there, you're not only you set up, your family set up. Once you make it to the big leagues, you're set.
I would say the only downside with baseball is it's a non-air conditioned sport.
It's outdoors. Okay? Yeah,
it is outdoors, guys. I mean, however, if it rains, you're not playing. That's cool. If it rains in football or it snows in football, you're playing. Baseball, if it rains, we're not playing. However,
Yeah.
if it's 108 in the shade, best believe y'all are going to play. All right. I swear to God, I was like, why'd y'all let me do this? Why'd y'all have me play these non-air conditioned sports?
Well, could you imagine, like, even out here in Arizona, the
That's why I'm saying it.
Well, they built
Arizona, bro.
You have to build a dome for these things. Like, but believe it or not, Arizona is a hotbed for baseball. Arizona State University is one of the best baseball programs in the country. It's amazing. There's facility, but they play outdoors in the summer at night, all night games. But it's still 110 degrees.
It is, yeah, dude. It's 103 out here.
But the major league teams, they have a dome. Most of these hot cities, most of them now have a dome. I think they should have more domes, so you don't have weather delays.
You don't. You know, weather delays. You know, especially if you're hosting a World Series, like at the biggest stage, the last thing you want is throw your team off by a full day because y'all don't got a dome.
Well, yeah, if you're in a cold weather city and it's November or into late October.
I was like, the only ones I said at Wrigley will always get an Agreed Monster at Fenway. Actually, bro, Shiro's actually going to be in Fenway like in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I think next week. So yeah, I was like, had I found out soon enough, or had I actually been, I didn't know it was like a Sunday to Tuesday thing. I was like, damn, if it was a weekend, I'm going to Fenway with you for a weekend. But yeah, I that's definitely one thing I'm checking out for it too.
Sure.
Let me see what else I've got on here. What else did you have on your end for things? Oh, I know. Actually, I know one you sent me. The one you were asking about was what superstar starts to regress. I'm already going to tell you it's going. Even if you didn't tell me he was going to have Tommy John surgery, I'm going to tell you right now, Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
I know everyone's going to give him the whole he had Tommy John surgery, but I'm like, nah, bro. I've seen enough of this in with the Washington Nationals to know what this is.
It's tough when you're like a position player that has that because he played through it. He played through the tear all year as a DH. So there's the one advantage, right? When you're a pitcher, that's your job. You're done. It can take 2 years sometimes to come back.
Hold on 1 second. So explain the DH title to the man that says it's all great.
Yeah, the DH is what's called a designated hitter. So basically what that means is that it used to be, I'm trying to think of how the easiest way to explain it. So you have the two leagues, right? American National League. American League adopted the DH since pretty much the beginning, and then National League never had it just until this last year. So it's just basically a position player that doesn't play the field. He's just there to hit. So he'll basically hit in the pitcher spot instead of in the National League where it used to be the pitcher. So with him being, what I think he'll do is he'll come back as a DH. He's not going to be back right away either, I don't think. I think it's going to be a while this year. So
Tommy John's, yeah.
I think the DH in the National League, though, is what helps because now if you're injured and you can't play the field, you get your best hitter, he could still hit. So,
and even then you can have a pinch runner. So, I mean,
yeah, there's a million things you can do. I don't know if I see him regressing so much. The one guy who scares me is Ohtani. Ohtani, because he's a pitcher.
Of regressing,
I think as a pitcher he could regress. Now he's a dual threat. He's a dual player.
At 28,
he's 28. But the thing is, he had issues with his elbow a few years ago. So what? Did
that ever need surgery at that point?
I don't remember. I want to say it was either Tommy John initially, or I forget.
It was okay.
But my problem with him is that as a dual player, the way as violently as he swings a bat and he throws, if he's on you just look. That's what scares me about signing that guy, because if he does blow his arm out, then you're losing a player who does two things on your team.
You're right. He had Tommy John's in 2019.
Okay, there you go. So Tommy John. That's what I thought. So
now we got to blame Tommy John's for the one that says it's all great.
There you go.
What's Tommy John's surgery?
The Tommy John surgery is I want to say it's the oh God, I'm so bad at this because I'm not a doctor.
It's the ulnar lateral ligament.
Yeah, ulnar lateral. So it basically tears.
Ulnar collateral ligament.
Yeah, so basically tears in your arm when you're putting where you're like goes through your pitching elbow, and it has to be reattached and fixed, and it basically gets to the point where if it's bad, or you have to relearn how to use your hand again and how to do motion. So it takes, I would say, fully recovered, it takes about almost 2 years because you have to rehab.
That's 2 years.
But to come back to full form, most pitchers don't come back to full form for about two full years. So you're missing a season for a year, and that's just the rehab, and then you come back very slowly. Just so so you'll see a lot of guys who tear their do have the Tommy John surgery, tearing that ligament. That really they don't pitch a lot when they come back, and then they kind of like ramp up over time. Some guys, it actually improves their pitching. They throw harder. It's really weird. Some players actually have it just to have it when they're really young in the minors because they know that they probably maybe never happen again and it'll actually improve their arm. It's really weird.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this for people that don't know. Basically, if you watch any football or basketball sport, and they say the guy tore his ACL and you know it's bad, tearing your UCL needing Tommy John surgery is the same thing, but in baseball.
Right.
Scientifically speaking, your tendons connect your muscle to muscle, ligaments, bone to bone. Well, I'm sorry. Tendons will be bone to muscle, ligaments, bone to bone. So when you tear those, you have to reattach them because there are not necessarily a lot of muscle there. If any, you don't get a lot of blood supply. If you don't get a lot of blood supply, there isn't this fast healing. So people that tear muscles are going to heal a lot faster than people that tear ligaments. So that's why Cannoli was saying it almost takes 2 years to fully get that healed. I didn't know people were getting it in the minors. That's actually
leave it to the doctor to explain. That's why I leave these things to the science people.
Bro, bro. I
mean, you're right.
I can tell you that, but I fucked up with cooking barbecue chicken tonight, bro. I was like, honey, my wife was like, I was like, yo, honey, my stomach feels all right. She's like, what did you? I said, I ate the chicken you told me to eat. She's like, okay, well, how'd you cook it? I was like, duh, everyone knows how to cook. You hit the air fryer.
Cook it long enough.
Bro, I undercooked the shit by 50 degrees.
That's like the worst thing to undercook too. Is
I
chicken.
I was like, it's just kind of stringy, it's kind of chewy, but maybe it's a chewy flavor.
Yeah, E.G.O can't be on the show tonight. He's shitting himself to death,
bro. That's why I was partly like, I'm paying the consequences of this. I have 3 degrees, but I can't cook chicken. Like this is terrible right now.
Subtle deviancy is right. Rotator cuff injuries are more common in baseball for pitchers and that's harder to come back from. Once you fuck up your shoulder or your rotator cuff,
that's true.
Your value just completely diminishes because that's the harder thing to come back from. Because that's like, I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe you, like you said, you're the doctor, science, the motion, and just like surgery on that part of your arm. No, Joker. We're not talking about the Yankees. Nobody cares about the Yankees.
I mean, unless they get Ohtani. I mean, that's. I guess the other thing we're talking about is like, okay, you're okay. We had teams in the running. Who do you think is in the running for this, as far as you're concerned? To get Ohtani, who do you?
There will be a sleeper team. There's always a sleeper team you don't expect.
Rangers,
I don't know who that's.
Texas Rangers.
Could be not Texas. You know what? Actually, that is a great because Texas has money and it's a tax-free state. So if you go there, you're keeping a lot of that money. I say the 2 teams that are deadlocked from almost certain they're going to bid the most. They're going to be the Dodgers and the Mets. And I think the Yankees will be in there, but I don't think they get him. The Yankees are done spending money like they used to. They just signed Aaron Judge to a massive deal. That was their. Yeah. That's it.
I will say he was worth more than they gave him because he had to go to arbitration in the first place. But
yeah,
I get it. It's like, well, hey, it's like being a cowboy. It's like, well, hey, part of the money you're not gonna get will be made back in endorsements because you're a Yankee or because
he's a star. So. He deserves it.
Yeah.
See, Judge Joker's right. Like you said, the motion it's not natural, so you're just wear and tear on that rotator cuff. But I think the Mets offer the most money for Ohtani because they have the richest owner. We talked about that.
I know. All I'm saying to me is the fact that I watched. What's it called? Undisputed. And Shannon Sharp was saying, like, living in LA, 52% of his check goes to taxes. And I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure New York has a tax rate just as high.
It's close.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, look, bro, pull up the taxes. Like, Astros aren't gonna give you enough money. All right. All I'm saying is if you pull up for the Rangers, you're gonna get most of your check. Or the Miami Marlins. I'm not sure if
somewhere in Florida. Yeah, Florida team.
Is Jeter still? Is Jeter?
No. He left. He left.
Oh, then I can't go to. He's not going to Miami. Then
no. So I think you're right. That's why New York teams have to overpay because number one, you're dealing with the toughest media market, and the fans are insane. It's a tough place to play. A lot of players don't want to go there, and I don't blame them all the time. And then, but here's the thing: our owner literally does not care. He'll give you $700 million just to fucking spite the other team.
I'll play this. I will go to the Mets because I wouldn't have to shave my beard.
True.
I would say every player that went from especially when what was his name? Johnny Damon went from the Red Sox to the Yankees. I was like, oh god, his hair. Wow, gross. I was like, no, thank you. I was like, no. If you got
money talks, though. Money talks.
I mean, it's just he was out here looking like a corporate.
Are you going to want to play for a team where the owner is willing to spend that kind of money to win? Like you know you're going to get paid, and you know you're probably going to win a World Series eventually because you got a guy who's dedicated.
I know that he's willing to spend that much. It's just that with certain people that have a lot of money or that have a lot to give, you don't know if they're the kid with the toy. And you don't know how it's going to be when the toy doesn't work the way you want it to, if he's going to throw you away.
That is true.
That's the only reason I would,
because Mark Cuban's like that, right?
Acts.
Well, Mark Cuban's like that with the basketball team, the Mavericks, right? So this guy, the only difference is this guy who took over the Mets is a Met fan. He grew up in New York. He's diehard Met fan his whole life. So to him, it's a project where he's so desperate to get them a World Series that he'll spend any amount of money and any resource. He's completely revamping the organization, top to bottom. Technology, scoreboards, farm systems, scouting, coach. He doesn't care. He's like, I will spend everything I have to get this team a championship. And I was like, okay.
I do that.
And then as a fan, you're like, okay, cool, do it. He's the Jerry Jones of fucking baseball, basically.
We need one because Jared Steinbrenner is the last one we had. So I mean, there's got to be at least one guy that is one to at least put some eyes on his team because the team may not be that great. Let's see 1 second here. How many titles do the Rangers and Mets have? Why do you do this?
This is every Yankee fan I know. Every Yankee
fans
not all
and Cowboys fans are the same.
Oh my god,
we're the exact same. Jesus, Joker's voice. He has to come here. Hold on, I'm sorry, I forgot.
That's not how you get me to go to your bar in Vegas.
I'm sorry. Let me do this again. How many times do the Rangers and Mets have combined compared to the Yankees? Yankees are box of Mets and Rangers are litter box. Is that what you're expecting, Joker's voice? Really? Man. Okay. There's always that one guy that has to let you know my team is better because we have more championships. This guy. Yeah. I wanted to double check this too and run it by you, but I know that one of the questions you had on there was what player under 25 would you build around? And I think I'm trying to figure out the name that I've got because I'm not sure if he's 25 though. But go ahead.
There's a lot. I'm trying to think. There's one guy who. Oh god, I gotta think of his name. There's one guy in the Red Sox. I forgot what his name is now. I'm trying to think. I got to think about this for a second because I had a list and I don't know where the hell I put it.
While you think it, go
ahead.
I had Fernando Tatis Jr.
I would have. Okay, so he would have been a guy that I would have said yes. I have problems with that guy.
Go on.
I think he is an overrated baseball player. Now, is he talented? Yes. The problem with him is that I don't like his attitude. He's hurt his shoulder now 2 times, same shoulder 2 times, and he's suspended for a big part of this year to come up because of a steroid thing. The performance enhancing got caught. It's my understanding that the Padres would love to get rid of him because he's just not what they thought he would be. So I would say him. You got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in Toronto, who is a stud. Bo Bichette is a good player. He's in Toronto. Juan Soto is another guy who's brought up. A lot of people don't. I have people I know that do not like him. I think he's still a good ball player. He's really young. I think he's only 23 or 24, and the guy's a power hitting machine. So I think he's another guy that's going to he's a free agent after next year, after this season coming up. He's another guy who's going to get a $500 million contract.
Really?
Yeah, he's that kind of player. If he has a really good year this year, he's going to get a massive contract next year. So I would say those Guerrero, Soto, Acuna Jr. in Atlanta is another one. There's a few.
It's too late to say Jeremy Pena from the Astros.
He's good. Yeah, he's another good player.
He actually won the MVP for the World Series last year when the Houston Astros won the the World Series. So that's true. I mean, there's a lot of. I will say at least. You would think that star-wise, with at least some of the legacy players, like I remember Fernando Tatis Sr., I remember Vladimir Guerrero Sr., and to see their kids, it's like I would think he would have done a better job in promoting these guys. Like Aaron Judge seemingly came out of nowhere, but
sport. That's the problem.
It is.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead, buddy.
No, I was gonna say, bro, like you could tell me that Mike Trout could walk right in front of my house right now. I wouldn't even know who he is.
That's the problem with the sport. Unless you're a baseball fan, you won't know a lot of these guys. I mean, there's a guy who plays for the Mariners, Julio Rodriguez. He's a young kid. He's a freaking star. They just don't do a good job promoting their players at all. It's the worst sport at it.
Exactly. I can see that. You know, God, Joker's worst thing to happen to the MLB long-term contract. No players worth
And they're getting
8.4.
worse.
They
Like they're
are.
getting longer.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, who the fuck wants to sign up for 13 years? You know,
Well,
it's
think about
like,
it this way: if the dollar amount is what's determining this, so if you're a player
I
who's
know.
25 and can stay on a team till you're say 10 years even, you're 35, you're just about past your prime or about in that range, and you're still and a lot of these contracts are going to be like there's a lot of contracts that are at the end of that contract, it's a bad contract. The
That's
last 3
true.
years of that, you're paying a guy $40 million. He can't even run to first base anymore because his legs are shot, can't hit anymore. It happens, but it's the early part of those years you're banking on. So,
Well,
and
then,
that's
okay,
where an
guys.
owner like
Go ahead.
my owner,
Go
I
ahead.
love him because he will like Robinson Cano. Robinson Cano was a star when he was young, came to the Mets. He was shit. This dude said, "Oh, you got 40-50 million dollars left in your contract at 43. Okay, here's your check. Get the hell out of my house. Get out of this clubhouse."
Yes, sir.
Having the
And
money helps there.
that, guys, is actually why I wanted to talk to you, because I think one of the best things that me and my dad were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about Bobby Bonilla and Bobby Bonilla Day, guys. Okay,
Oh, this guy's a
so
genius.
Bobby Bonilla
The
is
smartest guy in baseball.
one of these most forward-thinking people
Dude.
in sports history to me. Now, Shiro's an accountant. She's like, you should have got all that money up front because tax can kill you. I'm like, hold on, honey. All I'm saying is, let's just think about this. All right. So basically, the way Bobby Bonilla was a Major League Baseball player for the Mets, right? And
Mhm.
in 2000, he actually got bought out by the Mets, right? So basically,
Mhm.
instead of paying him like $5.9 million to buy him out, he basically said, hey, pay me $1.2 million for 25 years after July 11th to July of 2035,
Genius.
including 8% interest. So, guys, every year on July 1st, we celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yep.
On Bobby Bonilla Day, this man gets a
Mhm.
check for $1.193 million.
Yeah.
And it's been running from basically 2011, and he's got another 12 years on this. Okay, it is simply one of the best contracts that I've ever seen negotiated. Actually, didn't his actual contract go for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction at one point
Yeah, it did. It did.
a few years ago? I mean, so
Him and
go ahead.
his agent is the best agent in the history of it. Like they got, and I know what Shiro's saying, right? He did make a lot of money still though up front. So
Yeah,
he had money. And think about this though. This dude has the best retirement plan in the history of sports. Like even after taxes, if you invest that money, and well, he is investing it. It's making interest on its own.
yeah,
He doesn't
yeah.
have to do anything. And I think if I'm not mistaken, when he left the Mets, oh God, what team did he go to? I want to say it was Baltimore, maybe.
Okay,
He did a similar thing with them too when he left. So if I'm not mistaken,
bro,
so he's getting two of those types of contract, but the Mets is it's the bigger one.
bro.
So one thing I love about this new owner for the Mets, Cohen, is he wants to have a Bobby Bonilla Day every year.
I'm sorry, he played in Cardinals in 2001.
Sorry, Cardinals. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Bro,
So the Cardinals.
guys, by that when he gets paid,
He's
the
doing it
last
twice.
time that Bobby Bonilla gets paid, he'll be 72 years old.
It's a and he's got all the money
Like,
banked. If he's smart with his money, he's banking all that anyway. He's keeping
bro,
some of that. So this dude is his kids and their kids are set up for life.
this man beat inflation 30
Yeah.
years in the future, guys. This man at 8% interest.
Yep.
8%. I don't even know how you did that with, instead of paying someone $5.9 million, you wind up paying them 23. I don't know how he did that, but
It's insane.
Jesus. You guys, give me a sec. I'll be right back. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna
yeah.
ask you to open ended question to the chat. Give me like 1 minute.
Yeah. So it's amazing what Bobby Bonilla did. He really is, like I said, the most advanced thinking player I've ever seen. Because players today are getting their contracts. A lot of their money is being pushed to the back end of the contract, but not like this. Even if they're years ahead, they're not 30 years ahead. Subtle Devensees, yeah, it is the best retirement plan, Joker. Subtle Devensees that the best was Brett Saberhagen retiring to avoid matrimony fees. Yep, coming back after the matrimony expired, giving him he another genius, because his agent probably said, "Do this, you get to save your arm, and then you get to come back and keep your money." So I don't know how many people in here actually are ready for the baseball season, excited to watch every game. I have gotten to the point now with doing YouTube and life and sports that I really am not. Not that I don't watch, I always follow, but the YouTube thing last year when I started, it took some time away from the baseball thing. So I'm really this year looking forward to, with the new format I'm doing on the Friday shows where I'm taking some time off in between each show. I'm really looking forward to just having downtime and watching just some of the sport and like I want some of my time back. That's one thing I've learned about doing YouTube is that I'm doing it on my Monday shows every week still, but I want my Fridays back once in a while. Like I was telling the Mrs. Cannoli today, just us watching a movie on a Friday night together, or even to talk about on a show eventually, or just kind of chilling, playing a game, going out for a walk, going to dinner. But baseball is that kind of thing for the family where we just kind of gather around the TV. Even if they don't watch it, we're hanging out and we're talking. So it's a very social sport. Yeah.
Bro, I'm letting y'all know right now, guys. Ordinary games that may or may not be delayed or really early on Sundays. I'm telling you right now. Once the Cowboy season starts,
oh yeah,
same way. Y'all don't even. I don't want no mess. Don't message me. I want to hear no one gloating.
We got to do some. We got to do some football. So we got to do some pre-football.
Bro,
I'm gonna be in Vegas when the draft is going on. Even though it's not in Vegas, I'll be there for the meetup, and that's when the draft is starting.
Bro, please place bets on that.
Yeah, I might have to.
Please place a bet on there. Like, I don't know what's gonna want to happen this year. All I know is I don't think we'll get him. I will say that from what I've been hearing, the Cowboys want the tight end from Utah, who they're saying is like the next Travis Kelce. But I'm like, bro, there's at least 4 teams that say they want a tight end, and the guy that you just fired and wound up going to the Chargers, Kellen Moore, loves tight ends. So we're not going to get a tight end by the time we pick it like 26. But whatever. Yeah, we'll have to have a post-draft analysis at some point on there too.
Sure.
But what should we call it? Yeah. So keep up with sports with YouTube. My work schedule is not the most conducted. Yeah, bro, I gotta ESPN it, or I'll wait till the game is over and just type in like highlights. I'll watch a 12-minute highlight of the Cowboys game.
I do it a lot. So, well, I'm not spending what is it, $500 on an NFL ticket. I mean, there's other ways to watch sports. I'll just put it that way. There's manners of like how people get movies and sport. But I tell you what, that's a shame. The Oakland A's leaving Oakland is a shame.
It would suck. Because
they have a history there. They've won 4 World Series there. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of history. It's like, well, Oakland, the only thing they're gonna have left is what, the Golden State Warriors.
No, they're in San Francisco now. Well, they're technically in San Francisco. So.
Yeah,
but the Oakland mayor and the government's giving out reparations instead of saving their baseball team.
Shit, I'm gonna move to Cali, guys.
That's what I'm saying. E.G.O, you'll be rich, man.
I am paid, E.G.O.
Well, pull a Bobby Bonilla and get the money and invest it.
Actually, I need to see what the terms are for that. Hold on. While y'all are walking up, I need to see the terms for reparations of this one.
Vegas sports are crazy, man. Like they're gonna have all of them except basketball, I think. Which I don't think NBA will ever go to Vegas, but yeah,
would ever go to Vegas?
I don't think the NBA will ever go to Vegas. Joker Voice talked about that once too, and he just doesn't think that there's a lot of bad history. There was something that happened with an All-Star game for the NBA in Vegas, and a lot of shit happened, and I don't know if it's a good spot for the NBA there.
I will say Donahue messed this up for everybody, guys. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just want to say
I'm just reading Joker Voice's thing here. How many QBs? It's tough, man. It's a tough racket. QBs are little gamble. It's not all of them.
I mean, everyone wants to get Patrick Mahomes. He was 11. So it's like everyone's hoping that your guy hits.
Well,
I will say it used to be when you hit on number ones in the late 80s and early 90s. It was because it was rare that they would start, and they at least sat for like a year or two. I know Troy Aikman maybe was in and out his rookie year, and he started after that. And even Patrick Mahomes sat for a year.
Right.
So, and even Lamar Jackson didn't start the season as number one, I don't think. So, Vegas is an Oakland AAA team as well. Oh, yeah, okay, that's a done deal then. All right, I'm sorry, guys. We kind of did a little bit of a
deviation. Here, it's all good. It's all good.
A little tangent. I just want to see what I got to do to qualify for some reparations, guys. Maybe you can too at this point. Got to file a complaint of filing requirements.
Oh, is this the?
Oh, bro, yeah, I definitely can see what this is. Fraud. I mean, fiduciary duties.
I thought I saw an article yesterday that said that the money they want to give out is more than what like the surplus of the state.
It's going to cost $1 trillion if you want to do it.
I'm sure California just has $1 trillion laying around.
Bro, all I'm saying is I might move for a year.
Just move.
I can see Copa just moving back and be like, I am Southern Italian. I am of Moorish descent.
Hey,
That's what
just
I'm
saying.
like, yo, I need
I'm
if we
just saying.
guys we need to come up with a scam here. I'm not gonna lie. What you call it? Let's make this happen, guys. Help me out here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like,
Let's do
well,
this.
they're gonna say, well, how could you prove it? I was like, you ever seen the movie True Romance? It's like that scene where he talks about the Sicilians and the Moors. Like,
Yeah.
Mike
Tirico.
watch that.
You see Mike. You need Mike Tirico, right, for football.
Yeah.
Motherfucker's my shade. You know what he claims he
That's
is?
what he's saying.
Southern
he's like,
Italian. I'm
yeah.
like, sir.
Southern
sir.
Italians can be dark. Here's the funny thing: my grandmother was Southern Italian, mostly Sicilian. She was light as the freaking light as paper, very light. It's weird. But yeah, there are some that do have that slick, dark, really dark skin tone, dark hair. My Mrs. Cannoli's Sicilian, and she's darker than me.
Okay, all right, we got shades. I'm just like, yo, the first person that comes out looking like y'all, it's $5 million. I'm just like, you know what? This is Martin Luther King's real dream, right here. That's a real dream.
Right.
But yeah, I guess in terms of for predictions for the year, who do you actually see it being like? I guess we'll just get down to it like World Series wise. Who do you got for World Series this year?
Oh my God. I know some of my family's going to hate this because they're Yankee fans, but I think the Astros are the favorites again in the American League, even though they've lost Verlander as their top pitcher. That team is just a machine of turning around prospects, and they could replace him immediately. They're the most balanced team. So of course, there's always the Yankees in the conversation. I think it's the Astros coming out of the American League. The National League's a tough one. Dodgers are always in the conversation. I think the Dodgers are going to regress a little bit because they're getting older. They'll be in there. They'll be in the conversation, but San Diego's really good in that division. That's going to be a tough one. I think it could be the Padres if they can put it together. They have a loaded team. I will say probably, and this makes me sick to my stomach to say because these two teams make me just. I think out of the National League, it's going to be either the Phillies or the Braves in the National League East. I think the Mets could get there only if the Mets. Here's how the Mets get there. And I do think they have a good team because the guys spend a lot of money in this offseason. The Mets have to get a closer because they lost their closer in that stupid World Baseball Classic. For the year.
They get hurt. He got hurt, right?
Yeah, he's jumping up celebrating. He tore his freaking ligaments. They lost the best closer in baseball. And mind you, E.G.O, he just got paid a 4-year contract, like $120 million in the offseason.
Smart.
And here's the beautiful part, though. Here's why Cohen is the owner's a genius. He put an insurance policy in that as long as he's rehabbing for his injury, he does not have to pay him a dime. So he's not even paying him. So he's going to be out for the year.
So is he getting paid through like?
So what's happening is the Mets pay, the Mets pay him, and they pay 100% of his salary, the insurance. So Cohen's just getting the money right back. So I think if the Mets can add another power bat, another starting pitcher, and a closer by the trade deadline, they could get there. But I think right now, I hate to say this, I think the Phillies are loaded. I think the Astros are loaded. Those two, I think it's going to be a rematch, which makes me sick to my stomach.
Bro, I don't see. I'll play this. I don't see Philly returning this year just because of Bryce Harper. I think they have an over reliance on like one or two guys, maybe, and it doesn't work.
The Phillies did what teams aren't supposed to do to get to the World Series. They hit a lot of home runs, which doesn't always do well in the playoffs, right? Because pitching always beats good hitting. Their defense is horrendous. But somehow they slugged their way to 6 games into the World Series, which is fucking scary. It actually scared a lot of baseball players. The comeback in game 1 was enough. That's what I mean. So
I had my buddy from Philly visiting and my buddy from Houston visiting. We had a bet that the loser was going to jump into my pool in the middle of October.
Yeah,
my buddy from Philly was sweating bullets until they came back like in the 7th or the 8th inning out of seemingly nowhere from 3 runs down. Like, what the hell? So my buddy from Houston jumped in the pool, but I would say, you can't really, you can't just.
It's tough.
Slug your way.
Yeah, I think in the American League it's pretty open ended. I mean, it's not open ended. The National League a little more, but the Phillies added a lot of good players in the offseason. They added pitching. They're going to be tough. That division is the best division and might be one of the best divisions in baseball, the National League East, because you have 2-3 really, really good teams that could get to the World Series in one division. and then the Dodgers and San Diego are tough. It's going to be interesting, man. I don't know. I don't see anybody beating the Astros. I just don't. Not the Yankees either, Joker. Not the Yankees.
No, you need a complete team to beat. I don't see another complete team. I give you. I'll say Houston will go back. I mean, if I'm thinking National League, maybe Atlanta. I mean, it would be a pipe.
Atlanta's tough.
It would be piping. It would be fun if the Mets win because it's like new kids on the block, new swag. So it will be fun for baseball, but it would make purists long for the days of the actual Yankees going. Mm-hmm. Then it's like it's the New York of the. It's basically the New York of the North versus the New York of the South.
Yeah,
which would be awesome.
And so, I know baseball, the MLB would not want that because as much as the New York World Series would be exciting.
I would love a New York Super.
Well, see, series, bro. It would be a great, but the problem is with baseball, it's a regional sport. It's not national anymore, so people don't watch. It's not like football where you're going to get two teams from shit cities. Everybody's watching the game in the country.
That's fair.
Baseball is very regional, so if only the East Coast is going to stick to that, and the rest of the country is not New York again. Oh, great, New York's in the World Series again. So I think. Well, yeah, but that worked out for them.
You don't blow it in 2 innings.
You know what? It worked out for them. I mean, I get what you're saying, but they did. Yeah. They added some pieces there. I just still think overall they're the most complete team, and you can always make trades. So
that's fair. I see, like, bro. If either the Mets or the Astros somehow pull an Ohtani trade at the trade deadline, it's over.
Oh, man, I wouldn't put it past the Mets to try. I wouldn't put it past the Mets to try because the Mets have really the Mets farm system. Was put their owners, the Wilpons, were the biggest fucking pieces of shit in sports. Their ownership was corrupt. They were part of that Madoff thing. They treated the team after Madoff and losing all that money. They treated the team like a mid-market team, and they treated the fans like shit. So this owner wants to get away from that completely. I think what the Mets have is really, really good top talent prospects, but they're building everything else now. So if they want to get rid of their top guys, they'll do it. I have no doubt that they'll do it.
All right, man. Fuck them players.
Fuck we'll just replenish the farm system. We'll spend more money next year to replenish the farm system. I don't give a shit. I want to win now. Bring the sushi truck and the fucking money.
I mean,
we're
who
good.
Don't want to be wooed? Who don't want to be wooed? You know.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, guys, as we wrap up, dude, what do you have going on in your channel? I guess the next channel you'll be a part of. Next thing you got coming down the pipeline. What you got?
Yeah, so let's see. Tonight, just for a brief time, I'm gonna be on a brief visit on the midweek hump with Shaq. They're doing their 1 year. So I'm just gonna pop in real quick, say hello, and bounce out because they have people rotating in. And then Friday, we have me, Mrs. Cannoli, Sasquatch, and a new guy, Rev Roma, who's a new dude to YouTube. This guy. His channel is blown up to like over 500 subs in a really short period. He's hilarious.
Wow.
He's into the politics. He does jokes about everything. He's on Twitter a lot, so I want to interview him. And after that, I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus for a little bit to retool for April. Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch will be back on the 7th with her truly female podcast, of course, with Shiro and Vex. And then I won't be back on a physical live stream for Fridays until the 21st of April, but you can always catch me on Mischief Mayhem Movie. We're coming back on the 10th for that. We're doing Cable Guy.
Nice. Okay, I do. I appreciate that. Only actual character that was terrifying with a lisp. I'll tell you that right now. Jim Carrey's the only dude that can do that to me. He's
scary. Very scary.
All right, so for me, guys, I'm gonna be doing a Sega Genesis stream with Johnny Douglas on Friday at I believe 6:30. I'm gonna go ahead and double check it here as well, just to make sure. It's at 6:00 Central on Johnny Douglas's channel. Saturday, awesome. Of course, me and Abomination AJ have got our Heroes No Capes podcast that's coming up.
Yes.
I believe our next Ordinary Games will be on the 23rd. And I've got a few things coming up after that. I'm actually going to wind up doing a full review of John Wick 4 with the network. Because, just being on your channel was not enough. I was really hyped when I got off of that.
Hey, dude, thanks for coming on. That was a great show, by the way.
Bro, that was... Y'all, these guys' movie Mischief Mayhem is hilarious. Okay? If it weren't for Vex, we'd be talking in circles for 3 hours.
Oh, God, she puts us back in line, yeah.
Entire movie. And they'd be like, well, hey, you guys only got to like...
Yeah, you skipped over this part. I'm like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, I was like, even Shira was like, yeah, y'all talked a lot over, and Vex pretty
She's
much had
awesome.
to keep you centered. I was like, yeah, so Vex does a great job, guys. If you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
get invited to Mission Movie Mayhem, please do it. It's awesome.
Thank
But
you.
anyway, that's pretty much what we've got going on. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me. Oh yeah, and I got Joker's Voice on the 7th will be there too.
Awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So yes, guys, thank you so.
Man, subtle. Man.
Damn, busted chops. No problem.
You poor
Script
bastard.
for my notes for
Uh,
bro. Good luck. I mean, you're
Thank you
doing
for
stunts
doing
that
what
we
I
are
don't
not
want to
gonna
do.
do. The
Mhm.
Lord's work, because we ain't doing it. But for now, guys, got Cannoli, Sasquatch, and E.G.O out.